Hey, what's up, guys? Here on the Far Sports Pod, where everything we got is hot. I'm your host, Zach Jackson. Here with us today is our co-host, Justin. Back at it again in another episode. We are powered by StreamYard, where StreamYard makes the dream yard go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Season 8, Episode number 24. Guys, we're going to finish up our record predictions for this upcoming season. And then we're going to talk about the big elephant in the room, which is my Dallas Cowboys. You know what? Let's just talk about that one first, Justin. How about that? Let's talk.
I think you should talk about it first because it's your team. So I really think you should say how you feel about it.
Well, I'm gonna keep the PG version here because there's a lot of words I could say. So I'm gonna keep this PG for everyone out there. But obviously, what came to a shock. Green Bay has made a trade with the Cowboys to take Micah Parsons, and then they signed him to a 4-year, $188 million deal. I think 136 of it is guaranteed. Again, this is the money that he was owed. He's played fantastic football for the Cowboys. Skip Bayless thinks otherwise. Whatever the case is, don't listen to him. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Micah Parsons was the best player on this team. He was the only player that on defense, other than maybe Trayvon, that consistently was able to play at the highest level. And it showed in his rookie year, and it showed last year. Even when hurt, he was still trying to play at 100%. So I'm going to just say this. I think Jerry Jones is making a terrible mistake. It's a gamble that maybe paid off back then, but this is not back then. And I really think it's just because he was so adamant that he had to have a handshake with Micah instead of dealing with the agent. And that really is the only thing he wanted to do, Micah, was have his agent deal with it. And Jerry didn't want that to happen because he's sticking stones on his way and his way only. And now you just drove one of the best players in the game on defense in general out of your building and going to an arch rival in Green Bay who stomped y'all just 2 years ago in Dallas when you were 7.5 favorites in the playoffs. So coming off a massive win against the Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So that was the previous year. So I don't know what to really make about this. Still in shock that Micah. I have a $500 jersey of Micah. Basically you could put it over pads, and that's how it is. So this is a very big shock, and it hurts because Micah was such a big part of the Cowboys. And I actually came into this year thinking that we would make the playoffs. I had them at going 11-6. They didn't have a really hard schedule, but now without Micah as a driving force on that defense, Dak and the head coach is going to have to really score some points. And when it's up to Dak doing all that stuff, that does not work out so well. But that's my little rant for 3 minutes. Justin, if you got anything else to say about the Micah thing, if not, we can move on.
I just look at it like it's kind of strange that you would trade it to a team that you consider your rival, that being Packers. I think you could have traded them maybe out of conference to maybe like a low-level team that's like a bottom feeder, maybe like the Cardinals or something. I don't know why they would trade them to the Packers, and they play each other this year, so that's going to be a game. Whenever that game is, whatever week that is, that needs to be flexed to like Sunday night football prime time.
I think it is.
It is? It already is?
I think it was already.
So we already got the fireworks going now. I think it's good for Micah. He goes to a championship contender the division, the NFC North is already close at the moment, but now does this put Green Bay over the edge a little bit? That's to be seen, but I'm just excited for football, to be honest. I'm just happy he's out of the division as a Giants fan, so thank you. Thank you, Jerry.
Yeah, Jerry Jones is just an incompetent owner. He is the worst owner on the planet. And it doesn't get better from this, guys, because as a Cowboys fan, we all know if Jerry does pass, here comes his son, and they're just going to keep passing it down. So it's going to be tough to be a Cowboys fan for the foreseeable future if this is the stuff that we do. Michael Irvin, all big Cowboys fans, guys that played for the team, were all shocked that this was a move that he was going to make. But not to mention, Dan Orlovsky did mention this earlier. the difference between Luka and Micah was Micah requested a trade. Luka just got traded. So Micah wanted out. Yeah, maybe it wasn't the thing, but Dak had to deal with the same thing. CD had to deal with the same thing, but they got their money at the end of right before the season started. I'm thinking if he didn't ask for a trade publicly, I think that this would have gotten done. But nonetheless, Jerry should have just sucked it up, did what he was supposed to do, and just met with the agent. That as an owner, that's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to talk to players about that situation. This is what happens when that stuff goes through the owner. So I just, or I should say, goes through the agent. I'm just in loss of words. Yeah, we're just gonna move on because I can't. I really am done.
It's hurting you that much. You got to move on this quickly.
We're moving on, and we're gonna go and talk about the Browns schedule and their lousy ass team, and that's where we're gonna start with. And I'm gonna rock with this here. Okay, so first up, guys, we got the Browns. They're playing the Bengals, a division rival game. Nonetheless, this is not even going to be a close game. I'm going to have the Browns get absolutely trampled by 25. The Browns then play the Ravens, another division rival. They're going to get absolutely trampled by 35. So they're going to start out the season 0-2. Then they play Green Bay. They're going to get, with Micah's going to eat Joe Flacco alive. Green Bay's going to kill them by a mile. Then they play Detroit. Yo, Justin, what the hell is this schedule? Then they play Minnesota. They're losing that game too. Then they play Pittsburgh. They're losing that game too. They're 0-6. They played the Bengals, the Ravens, the Packers, the Lions, and the Steelers.
That's a tough schedule, man.
The fuck is this? The Browns did nothing last year. Why are we giving them this tough schedule?
Well, they play in the NFC North, not NFC, AFC North in general. So their schedule is going to be hard because they're in a division with the Ravens, the Bengals, and the Steelers.
That is true.
So they're already put at a disadvantage. And then I think they play the NFC North this year, which puts them at a bigger disadvantage.
So I'm going to go on a limb here, and I'm going to take Miami to beat Cleveland. This could be a toss-up game. This is where I'm going to take the Browns to get their first win of the season in Week 8. I got them beating the Patriots. Browns versus Jets. I'm going to take the Jets. I have faith in the Jets. Ravens versus Browns. Ravens. Ravens versus Raiders versus Browns. I'm going to take the Browns with an upset. San Fran versus the Browns. That's not even close. Browns versus Tennessee. I'm taking the Browns. Browns versus the Bears. I'm taking the Bears. Browns versus Buffalo. Buffalo. Browns versus Steelers. Steelers. Browns versus Bengals. Bengals. So that is pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. You have the Browns going an abysmal 3-14 record, 0-6 against their division this year. I just don't think they're going to be good enough to compete with anybody in their division. 3-9 in the conference, 1-8 at home, 2-6 away, 0-12 versus winning, 3-2 versus losing. That's how I have the Browns.
You think we maybe get a Shadir sighting this year? If they're that bad? If
I'm going to let you know, Shadir is coming in week number 8 against New England.
Okay.
They're going to
go week 8
because they're going to go 0-7, and Joe Flacco is going to get the hell out of there, and then Shador is going to come in and he's going to play against New England. He's going to win. He's going to have a close game against the Jets, but lose, get absolutely trampled by Baltimore, win against the Raiders, get trampled by San Fran, win against the Titans, close game against the Bears, get trampled by Buffalo, close game against the Steelers, and get trampled again by the Bengals.
But Dylan Gabriel's higher over him in the depth chart. I think it goes from Flacco to Gabriel.
No, yeah, it does. It does go. Dylan Gabriel is not going to be able to play. You know why? He's going to be hurt.
From what? He's not getting any burn.
No, exactly. My case in point. He's going to be hurt from not getting any burn. He's going to come in one play and he's getting absolutely trampled.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Doors coming in. Yeah, I'm being blunt today with this shit, Justin.
Oh, my
Everyone
God.
can blame the Cowboys. Blame Jerry Jones. I'm blunt like this today. Blame mother freaking Jerry Jones. All right, we're going to move on to the Steelers. At least we'll have some winning here. I have the Steelers. Actually, they're going to start up the season. They're going to lose to the Jets. Steelers versus Seahawks. I'm going to take the Steelers. Steelers versus New England. I'm taking the Steelers. Steelers versus Minnesota. I'm taking Minnesota. Steelers versus Browns. Steelers. Steelers versus Bengals. I'm taking the Steelers. Steelers versus Green Bay. I'm taking Green Bay. Steelers versus the Colts. Taking the Steelers. Steelers versus the Chargers. I'm taking the Chargers. Steelers versus the Bengals. I'm going to take the Bengals. No, I'm going to take the Steelers at home. No, hold on. Bengals are winning at home. Steelers are winning at home against the Bengals. Yeah, there we go. Bengals, Bears versus Steelers. I'm taking the Steelers. Steelers versus Buffalo. Great game. I'm taking Buffalo. Steelers versus Ravens. I'm taking Ravens at home. Miami versus the Steelers. Steelers versus Detroit. Steelers versus Cleveland. I'm taking the Steelers. Baltimore versus Steelers. I'm going to take Baltimore. Actually, last game of the season, I'm going to take the Steelers, actually, at home. So the Steelers start off the season pretty well. Wait, there's something I didn't pick. Give me 2 seconds. Yeah, I'm taking the Chargers. So the Steelers start off pretty well. They go, start out by 5-2, and then they kind of just hit rock bottom from there. 9-8 record for me. 4-2 in the division. 7-5 in the conference. 6-3 at home. 3-5 away. 2-8 versus winning. 7-0 versus losing. 3-7 against playoff teams. I don't know, Justin. What do you think? 9-8. I think that's solid.
I think that's a good record prediction considering out there the Steelers. To be honest.
Yeah, no, exactly. I don't think they're going to be that good this year.
When Mike Tomlin's your coach, you're never going to be under 500, man.
Yeah, but they're not going to be that good.
Lorenzo was saying that they're a dark horse team for the Super Bowl. No. The first round exit. He was like, "You're just a hater." I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm a realist."
Yeah.
You live in delusion. You having the Lamar Odom takes.
Oh, God.
I'm saying Lamar Odom.
Oh, Lamar Odom's back. Bengals versus Cleveland. I'm taking the Bengals. Bengals versus Jacksonville. Taking some Bengals. Bengals versus Minnesota. Bengals versus Denver. Bengals versus Detroit. Bengals versus Green Bay. I think Bengals get a good one here. Bengals versus Jets. Bengals versus Bears. Bengals versus Steelers. Bengals versus Patriots. Bengals. Ravens. Buffalo versus the Bengals. Buffalo. I'm going to take the Bengals on this one. Bengals versus Dolphins. I'm taking the Bengals. Bengals versus Cardinals. I'm taking the Bengals. I think the Bengals have a good season this year. I think
you missed one. I think you missed the Chargers game.
No.
On one of them, you missed the game.
No, I didn't. 9-8. I found this one. I got the Chargers one.
All right, good. My bad.
Yeah, I think the Bengals have a pretty good year. I mean, obviously, look, they beat the Browns first game. They beat the Jacksonville Jaguars second game. They lose to Minnesota, tough game. They lose to Denver. They lose to Detroit. Then I think they beat the Packers in a very good game in Lambeau Field. It really just depends on that offensive line and if the Bengals defense can make a stop on Jordan Love. Bengals versus Steelers, I would have the Bengals winning at home. Bengals versus Jets, Bengals versus Bears, Bengals. Then the Steelers beat the Bengals. Then the Patriots, Bengals, Ravens. I think they split. Buffalo, I think Buffalo wins. And then Miami, I think the Bengals are the better team. Cardinals, Browns. I don't think this is a bad record prediction. 11-6 for the Bengals. Their schedule is not really tough. So
I think they're due for this because last year they had a bad start to the season, and then the second half they really picked it up. So I think they're due to just be a playoff team this year, just in general.
Too. Yeah, with Joe Burrow, you can't waste that.
As long as he stays healthy.
That is true. Ravens versus Buffalo. I'm taking the Ravens week 1. Ravens versus Browns. Ravens. Detroit Ravens. That's a great game here in Baltimore. I'm taking. I don't know. I think I'm going to go Detroit here. but I'm going to take Baltimore to beat Kansas City in Arrowhead. Texans play the Ravens. I'm taking the Ravens. Ravens, Rams. This is another great game, but I'm going to take the NFC team here. I'm going to take the Rams. Bears, Ravens, Dolphins, Ravens, Minnesota. Good game. But I'm taking the Ravens. Ravens, Jets, Ravens, New England, Ravens. Another great game here. Ravens versus the Packers. Right now, I have them at 12-4. They're either 13-4 here, or they are 12-5. What do you think here, Justin? Sports Talk with Aiden. If you're in here, I know you're a Ravens fan. What do you think? You got your Packers. You got the Ravens team or the Packers?
I will go with the Ravens just because I like their defense a little bit more. But that's a hard pick.
13-4. I don't think that's bad.
I had them going 13-4 on my thing originally.
Okay, yeah, I don't think that's bad. So yeah, my picks for the division are 13-4 for the Ravens, Bengals 11-6, Steelers 9-8, and Browns 3-14. Micah gonna give our O-line problems though. Yeah, Aiden, Micah's now in Green Bay. Yeah, that's gonna happen when you play Baltimore, the Ravens. When you play Green Bay. Micah's going to be a disruption. So that's my picks for the AFC North. Justin, I'm going to just do the NFC South, and then you could just do yours straight. Okay?
Okay.
All right, now we're moving on to the Saints, the worst team in the NFL this year. They lose the first game against the Cardinals. They lose against the San Francisco 49ers. They lose against the Seahawks. They lose against Buffalo. I have them beating the Giants. That can go either way. I got New England beating the Saints, the Bears beating the Saints, Buccaneers beating the Saints, Rams beating the Saints. This is where I think they can get their second win of the season, so I'm going to take the Saints versus the Panthers. Falcons versus Saints, Falcons. Dolphins versus Saints, Dolphins. Saints versus Tampa. Saints versus Panthers again. I think Panthers get this one. Saints versus Jets. Saints versus Tennessee. Saints versus Falcons. So I think the Saints go 3-14. They're probably going to have the tie for the worst record in the NFL. Not really much to say about this team. It's a rebuilding type of stage. They're in an abysmal performance right now, top to bottom. So they just deserve to be on the bottom. Here's the Panthers. I don't think they're going to have a bad season this year. Not as bad as they had in the past. I think it's actually going to be more competitive for them. Panthers versus Jacksonville. I think they get the win week 1. Panthers versus Cardinals. Cardinals just a better team. Cardinals. Panthers versus Falcons. Falcons better team. Panthers versus New England. I'll take the Panthers to get this one. Panthers versus Miami. Dolphins. Panthers versus the Cowboys. Panthers versus Jets. Panthers versus Bills. We're going to take the Bills. Panthers versus Green Bay. Panthers versus Falcons. Panthers versus San Francisco. San Fran. Rams versus Panthers. That's a no-brainer. Rams. Panthers versus Saints. Panthers versus Bucks. Tampa. Seahawks versus Panthers. Seahawks. Bucks again. I'm taking the Bucks. So I think the Panthers are one game ahead of I actually thought they were going to have a better season, but their schedule is pretty tough too. I got them one game ahead of the Saints. A lot of close games. Patriots or Packers defense. I'm taking the Packers now with Micah. Falcons schedule now. First game, they lose against Tampa. Second game, they lose against Minnesota. Third game, they beat Carolina. They lose against Washington. They lose to Buffalo. They lose to San Fran. They beat Miami. They beat New England. They lose to the Colts. They lose to the Panthers. They beat the Saints. They lose to the Jets. Seahawks beat them. Tampa wins another one. Falcons win. Rams win. So I got them going 6-11. Falcons going 6-11. last but not least, Irv's team, the Tampa Bay Bucks. First game they win. Second game, close one, they lose. Third game, they beat the Jets. Fourth game, they lose to Philly. Fifth game, they lose to the Seahawks. Sixth game, they upset San Fran at their house. Detroit beats Tampa. Tampa beats the Saints. Tampa beats New England. Tampa loses to Buffalo. Rams beat Tampa. Yeah. Tampa beats the Cardinals, and Tampa beats Miami. So I got the Tampa Bay Bucks going 11-6. Good team this year. Mike Evans is going for the record for the most 1,000-yard seasons consecutively. He's at 10 right now with Jerry Rice. Needs one more. So that's pretty much it for mine. Justin, if you want to share your screen, I'll put it up here. Just to recap, we have the Tampa Bay Bucks at 11-6, Falcons at 6-11, Panthers 4-13, Saints 3-13. So that's pretty much it for me. Justin, share your screen and I will put it up.
All right. So I'm going to start with the AFC North. Excuse me. I'm going to start with who I think is going to be the best in the division, and that is the Ravens. So week 1, I got the Ravens beating the Bills, Ravens beating the Browns. It's not clicky. Thank you. Ravens beating the Lions. Ravens beating the Chiefs. It's a little laggy right now. Okay. Ravens beating the Texans. I got the Rams winning this. I don't know why. I think they're gonna have a sneaky loss. I got the Ravens beating the Bears. This week 9 game kind of gets to me because it's like the Dolphins are very good at home, and their offense can go crazy. I'm gonna take the Dolphins in week 9. Week 10, I got the Ravens beating the Vikings. I got the Ravens beating the Browns. Ravens beating the Jets. Ravens beating the Bengals at home. Ravens beating the Steelers. I think they might split with Cincy this year. So we go with the split there. And week 16, I got them beating New England, beating the Packers, and beating this. They might actually lose this game because they're winning the division. So that leaves them at 13-4. Then for the Steelers, they're glitching out. For the Steelers, week 1, I have them taking the dub in the Meadowlands against the Jets. I got them beating the Seahawks, beating the Patriots, losing to the Vikings, beating the Browns, losing to Cincy, losing to the Packers, beating the Colts, beating the Chargers. You know what? I might take the Chargers here. Splitting with the Bengals, losing to the Bills, beating the Dolphins, beating the Browns. So that puts the Steelers at 11-6 for me. Moving on to the Bengals. We got them beating the Browns week 1, beating the Jaguars. But I think they're going to take a loss to the Broncos there. And I think they're going to lose to the Vikings as well. They're going to lose to the Lions, lose to the Packers, beat the Steelers, beat the Jets. Taking a tough loss to the Bears. Losing in Pittsburgh to the Steelers, beating the Patriots, losing to the Ravens. I think the Bills got that game. I think the Bengals can win this. Bengals can win this, and Bengals can win this. So that puts them at 9-8. And then the Browns, they're already 0-10 for me. So I'm gonna scroll down a little bit. I got them losing to the Dolphins. They'll beat the Patriots. The Jets will win that. This could go either way. I'm gonna go with the Browns here. 49ers beating the Browns here. Tennessee Titans. Bills. So that leaves the Browns at 2-14. So for the AFC North, I have the Ravens going 12-4, the Steelers going 11-6, the Bengals going 9-8, and the Browns going 2-14. Now on to the NFC South. We're gonna start off with the Tampa Bay Bucks. I got them beating Atlanta in Atlanta week 1. I got them beating the Texans in a close, tough game. So they start the season 2-0. I have them beating the Jets. The Eagles struggle with the Buccaneers. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bucks win this. So that's 4-0 start this season. I think they lose a tough game in Seattle. I think they beat the 49ers. The Saints suck. They beat the Patriots after the bye. Then you lose a tough game to the Bills. They beat the Rams. They beat the Cardinals. They beat the Saints again. They beat the Falcons again. They beat the Panthers. They beat the Dolphins. And they beat the Panthers. So that gives them a record of 15-2, which is crazy. We got the Panthers versus Jags. I think the Panthers can win that. Cardinals, I'm gonna take Kyler Murray here. Falcons, I'm gonna take the Falcons. Patriots, I'm gonna take the Panthers. I'm gonna take the Dolphins here. I'm gonna take the Cowboys here. I'm gonna go with the Panthers over the Jets. Bills, I'm gonna take the Bills. Them over the Saints. They split with Atlanta. Oh no, they get swept by Atlanta. 49ers got that. Rams got that. They beat them. I think they. So their record is 6-11. Then we got the Atlanta Falcons. Week 1, we got them losing to Tampa. Week 2, we got them losing to Minnesota. We got them taking their first dub of the season. And week 3, week 4, I think the Commanders got that. They go on a bye week 5. Week 6, I have the Bills. Week 7, I take the 49ers here. Week 8, I'm going to take the Falcons here. Week 9, I'm going to take the Falcons. Week 10, I'm going to take the Falcons. Week 11, I'm taking the Falcons. Week 12, I'm going to take the Falcons. I think Atlanta is better than the Jets. I'm gonna take the Falcons here. I'm gonna take Atlanta at home versus Seattle. I'm gonna take the Bucks in Week 15. I'm gonna take Arizona at home, and I'm gonna take LA. I think this might be one of them games where like they just don't show up. And to end the season, I'm gonna take the Falcons over the Saints. So that gives them a record of about 9-8. And the Saints, I think they're going to be the worst team in football, to be quite honest with you. So I don't really know what game they're going to win, but we're going to look at their schedule. I think the Cardinals win week 1. The 49ers win week 2. Seattle wins week 3. The Bills win week 4. The Giants win week 5. You know what? I think they can squeak by and get a win against the Patriots. They lose to the Bears. They lose to the Bucks. They lose to the Rams. They lose to the Panthers. Lose to the Falcons. Lose to Miami. Lose to the Bucs again. Lose to the Panthers. Lose to the Jets. I think Tennessee has Week 17 game, and in Week 18 they go out to end the season with a loss to the Falcons. So if we're looking at the division, we got the Bucs going 15-2, the Falcons going 9-8, the Panthers going 6-11, and the Saints going 1-16. These are all subject to change, because I do think it's kind of crazy. I don't really think that the Bucs will be 15-2. But based off of what I saw, the games, and just me predicting and not really looking at the records to the end, that's where I came to.
Alrighty. Well, I mean, that's solid. Like I said, I don't think the Bucs are going to be that crazy. I think 11-6 is pretty much kind of their ceiling. But again, you never know. Obviously, we didn't know about the Cowboys trade, and obviously that went through. So we don't know. But if that would be...
Thank you, Jerry.
What?
Thank you, Jerry.
Yeah.
For helping the Giants.
Thank you, nothing. All right, guys. Well, that's pretty much it for the show. We went over the Dallas Cowboys' big news, the big epic news in the sports world, with Micah's heading to the Green Bay Packers on a 4-year, $188 million deal. And we also went over the last two divisions we had for the AFC and the NFC side. So all our picks are set. We'll be keeping this in the tab, so at the end of the year, we can see where we're at when it came to our picks. Other than that, guys, that's pretty much it for the show here on the Forest Sports Pod, where everything we got is hot. I'm your host, Zach Jackson. Here with us today is our co-host, Justin, here on Season 8, episode number 24, powered by StreamYard, where StreamYard makes the dream yard go. We'll see you guys all on Monday. Peace.